my employment, they'll go back and they'll be a graduation speaker, for the U-Turn Permitted program, and say, I remember sitting in your seat. And those are my favorite milestone celebrations.
Do you pride yourself in the kind of atmosphere you've created here?
Yes.
With family oriented?
Intentional. People who've lived behind bars
So isolated.
don't need to come into a place that feels like an institution.
It's very true. Tell us a story about someone you found yourself to connect with a great deal, that you bonded with a lot, that's gone through this
Besides
program.
Kelvin, who I just
Well,
love.
you can even talk about Kelvin if you want
Kelvin's
to.
great. But there's a guy I've had some incredible stories. The guy up there in that picture, Gerald, he was someone that I learned a lot from. He was one of our first Civic Innings employees. But the person I probably enjoy talking about most his name is similar to Kelvin. It's Kelwin. And he also was one of our first hires. And I was doing it all at that point. We had no help. So interviewing people, running the business. And I sat down with him, and I usually don't ask people what their background, what it is that got you in trouble. Because I feel like I just need to meet you where you are.
Yeah, and see where you're at.
You're
see
out,
where your head is.
You're out, I'm good. I don't need to know anything more. But in this particular case, I did ask him, because it was an interview environment. So I said, well, tell me what kind of work experience you have. And he was like, I don't really have any work experience. And I said, really? I'm like, oh, wow. And so that's what led me to ask him, well, what did you do, that got you in trouble? And he said, well, ma'am, I was a drug dealer. I said, oh, okay. And I thought, well, now what do I ask him? And then I thought, well, were you a good drug dealer? And he was like, yeah, I was. And it was interesting, Jeffrey, because then he sat up a little taller. I said, well, what made you a good drug dealer? And it was amazing. I mean, in so many words, he said, I have to manage inventory because it's really competitive out there on the block. There's somebody, everybody claims that their stuff is better, but I had to show, so I'd give out samples. He would do his own marketing. Merchandising, if you will, give out samples like we do at Whole Foods.
Yeah.
He was good with math because he had to manage his, he had to manage inventory.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh my God. I said, you know what? I said, don't ever say you don't have work experience. I said, because you do.
Yeah.
You have really good work experience. I said, it wasn't legal. But those are skills that are very transferable. Everything that he mentioned is something that we could use in this business.
Yeah.
And that to me was the aha about why this business was so special. Because before I knew it, God already knew that those kinds of skills could be transitioned into legal work. And that you could help build a person's sense of confidence and self-worth because you're valuing that street knowledge that they've gained, but helping them to channel it in a positive way.
Absolutely.
I was like, unbelievable. This is so cool.
I met Kelvin.
Yeah.
He's a good kid.
He's great. Oh, Kelvin. Kelvin, you know.
No, I know both.
What? How did you meet Kelvin?
Wasn't Kelvin? I think Kelvin was here when I was internship.
Might have been. No. This guy was here like 4 or 5 years ago.
Really?
Yeah.
He didn't come back at all?
No, he came to visit me. He's married now. Kids. Baby kids.
I apologize.
No, that's okay. That's okay. You didn't know.
Tell me about the success of the business as far as people going through the program and finding jobs. How successful have they been in general?
Well, I would say that we're relatively successful. I hate the word success because I think it's transitioning out of prison and reentry back to community is a process and it takes time. And then you also have parole violations that are so easy for people to do. You're all so you don't have to reoffend. You just have to break a technicality.
Parking ticket or something.
Or
speeding.
Curfew or something.
Yeah.
And you don't report and you go back to prison. But that all said, we have a less than 4% recidivism rate.
That's good.
So that means that less than 4% of the people that we work with have gone back to prison. What it means is that we also place about 78%, 75 to 78% of the men and women that we hire through Sweet Beginnings will be placed in jobs. A percentage of those folks who don't get jobs are going on to pursue customized skills training.
Okay, so like
Becoming
trade school and stuff
yeah,
like
trade
that.
school, becoming drivers, long distance drivers, or whatever it is that they want. Another percent are getting their basics together, like a GED, or maybe they're going to community college.
That's great.
And then others, there'll always be some that just fall off. But what we've learned is that the people that are falling off aren't returning to prison.
Okay.
And I find all of that successful.
Me too. Do any of them come back for advice as far as starting their own business or something like
Yes.
that, or trying to?
Giving tips all the time. There's a guy right now, I finally broke down and started to eat it. But he makes these
I've seen
candy-
them. I've seen them.
So I was giving him a lot of business tips on I said, first of all, you can't do saran wrap, you gotta do shrink wrap, or you've got to figure out a nice pretty bow for it, and who's your customer, who are you aiming for, just to help him with some basics. So we do want to start an entrepreneurship kind of track.
You spoke on the price range for some of the products you guys offer. Could you go in more depth about that? Like, for example, the body lotion. How is it priced compared to the competitors?
Our prices are a little higher on the shelf, and it's because we're a social enterprise, and because we're local, and because we're green. And those things just make our products more. But we also know that if you care about society, and you care about issues of social justice, you care about quality, green skin, you're going to be like, okay. You'll be okay. And so clearly the product is moving, perhaps a little slower than like a Vaseline brand, right? Because there's some people that are just like, first of all, I know Vaseline, I can get it for $2.99.
Name recognition.
But those are people that really haven't read the ingredients necessarily, who care about what's, because if you read, then you're going to go, whoa, there's a lot of chemicals in there. So we know that our prices are slightly higher, but our target market is a person that actually is probably making 50 and over, that has some sense of that's a single person, that has discretionary income and can choose to see the importance of the investment.
What's the next step for you guys? Where do you see Sweet Beginnings going in the next 5 years?
Absolutely, we're gonna, we're gonna pollinate the model across the country, right? Because there are other communities that are so similar to North Lawndale that are struggling with coming up with an economic development strategy, and so we absolutely want to be able to have our model codified so that we can take it to other places and say, you don't have to sit and hope. You can do something, and here's a model that we've tested and has proven to be effective, and so I can see a Sweet Beginnings Detroit, I can see a Sweet Beginnings Baltimore, I can see, a Sweet Beginnings on a reservation, Native American reservation, and creating an economic engine where there wasn't. Honey and honeybees could do that.
Do you guys plan on expanding here first, as far as in Chicagoland?
Looking at an apiary now, so we have 4 apiaries, one at the O'Hare Airport, one at Wilbur Wright College. Cook
Explain,
County.
because people won't be informed about what an apiary is.
An apiary is a bee farm, and a bee farm usually consists of, you could even say three hives or more. And so in the backyard here, I think we have like 25 or 26 hives here. We have about 50 to 100 at the airport. We've got 100 hives out there. And then we have 18 at Cook County and 7 at Wilbur Wright. And so we're talking with folks with Black Skin Green, which is an organization on the south side. They work in West Woodlawn. And we're looking at launching an apiary in a really distressed area over there off of 60th and Champlain. You familiar with that area?
No.
Are you from Chicago?
I'm from Evanston, so I'm familiar
God
with the
bless you.
brand.
That's right. Well,
With
you
that
know,
Whole Foods over there.
Yeah. Okay, cool. How did you find us?
I actually did some independent research and found you guys through, I don't know what local network had done a news report on you guys, but I found you guys on YouTube and decided it was a really great idea.
Thank you.
No, thank you. I mean,
That's so cool.
but yeah, I'm from the Evanston area, North
Yeah.
Suburban area.
Beautiful area.
Blessed area. I mean, there's some parts that aren't as
I
fortunate.
know. People think Evanston is a homogeneous, if you will, in terms of class and the economy. But there are dips and
I mean,
drops.
everywhere it's like that, though. Some not
but
as
Evanston,
substantial,
you don't think
though.
about that.
Yeah,
I don't think
because it's right by the lake. I mean,
I
it's the
know.
last thing you ever think about.
gorgeous. So I like Evanston.
Do you visit often?
It was when I was taking courses at Northwestern
Oh, great campus.
Kellogg. Yeah, amazing.
What were we talking about before we got sidetracked?
About pollinating and
Oh,
going,
okay.
using them on other places. So yeah.
So
So going deeply here in Chicago, absolutely.
and I talked to Kelvin, and he said you guys are trying to uproot and get a larger facility.
Yes, we are.
And talk about that.
But we need a new place. It's just that this place is too small. Our vision and the work that we do far exceeds the walls of this building. So we're committed to a partnership that we're building to suit here in North Lawndale. We're not moving out of the community. We've decided we need to stay here. The community gave birth to this concept, and I feel like a stakeholder and a trustee in what the vision of the community wanted. Because I'm not from North Lawndale. I'm not from Chicago. But I have adapted, the vision and the will, and feel deeply responsible for making it happen. So we'll anticipate being in a new facility in 3 to 5 years.
Okay. What sort of programs do you guys do outside of helping with the unemployed? Like give back to the community? What sort of things do you guys take part in or fund?
Well, fun. We don't fund anything but us, rather. We both. But what we do is we do participate in the food depository. So once a month we go over there and folks volunteer. That's the U-Turn Permitted group. I volunteer on a number of different boards, for the city, DePaul, church, and then all of our staff are involved in various activities in the community, including other boards that I serve on.
Okay, I think that's enough for the interview.
Good. You still have to put it all together.
I still do.